Hey everyone, Brendan Satter here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me, and welcome to another episode where I've just gotten home and I have this big box of CDs sitting on my porch. So I did a mega order off of eBay and got 9 CDs from this one seller. They had so much great stuff, and so I can't wait to get into it, and that's what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna open this, unbox it, and share it all with you right here in just a bit. But before we start, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things do help support my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by turning on notifications, you'll never miss an episode and stay up to date on cool things like this, where I'm opening up CDs that just came in the mail, and I cannot wait to get into these things. 9 of them. I'm gonna listen to every single one of these when I get done here before I go to bed tonight, because I think they're all gonna be that great. But this place that I ordered it from is called Heavy Metal Museum. They're on eBay. I don't know much about them. They're on the East Coast. And I had gone and I had bought a couple things from them just recently. I showed you guys in my last new music finds. It was a Robert Hart album, a latest one from him called Circus Life, and Lone Rider, their brand new album. And just good experience with them. The stuff was inexpensive by comparison to me ordering it anywhere else by several bucks. And they combined shipping, so all that was really good. And like I said, I've got 9. So let's cut into this thing. I've got my X-Acto. Let's get into it. I really expected the box to be a bit smaller, but this guy looks like they did some great, protection on the stuff, and I always do really appreciate that when I get the stuff and it's in good condition. And look at this. I mean, actually, yeah, they put some styrofoam even right on top of this. So we'll take that out and then package with a bunch of other stuff around it. But the CD bundle, oh man, look at that right there in the middle. So we got some, extra bubble stuff around it, but there you go, man. It's just, that is a beautiful sight. Look at that, it's filled with great stuff. All right, gotta cut into this again to get into it. So let's see what we can do. Oh, it's like Christmas, ripping open a present of brand new stuff, and you're like, oh, Grandma, what did you get me? Right? Although I don't think my grandmother ever bought me CDs, but that's all right. Here we go. All right, so, man. All right, let's just start with one here. Okay, so a lot of people have been telling me to check this band out, Sign of the Wolf. I took your advice. I don't know what this stuff sounds like. I looked at who was in the band and decided I had to check it out. And now, of course, it's not telling me on the back who's in the band, but this is one of those super groups. Can't remember if this has Vinny Appice or Carmine Appice, one of those guys, but it's got one of those drummers that's played with everybody, and it's got a whole host of other people. I want to say Andrew Freeman is singing, because I'm pretty sure whoever I saw was the vocalist really perked up my eyes, ears, whatever, and I'm looking forward to checking this out. I can't wait to go through this and really get into it, because all of this stuff has different members from different bands that I really love. So the fact that they're doing more stuff like this, this was an interesting one. Craig Brooks, who's the singer for the band Touch, that put out an album, I want to say it's like 1980. Mark Mangold was the keyboardist. He plays with House of Lords now. And then Touch recently got back together, made their second album after 40 years. And so I found this, and I didn't even know that Craig Brooks had done anything. Desolation Freeway. So most of this is on the Escape Records label, a really good label. I just recently put together a thing. This one also Escape, Sign of the Wolf. They're a European label. And so I'd recently just put together a whole host of 50 albums from 10 underrated record labels. And I didn't include Escape only because I knew I was getting all of this and I could do a whole thing on them at some point. Part of that Lone Rider thing that I got that had Simon Kirk in it and Steve Overland from FM. The guitar player, Steve Morris, was from Ian Gillan's band, and then a group called Heartland. And so this is, I want to say Chris Usay from Virginia Wolf, and I hope I'm getting that band reference right. Steve Morris is the guitar player. I think he goes all the way back to this lineup here, although I'm not, the picture's so small on this, I'm not seeing, but definitely Chris Usay is part of this lineup. And I know that at least on later releases, Steve Morse is on. That's the debut, and I've never been able to get it. This is one of those domestic Japanese, they've been reissuing Japanese released albums domestically though. You can get them here in the US. Universal Japan was doing it. This is A&M Records. I don't know if that's an offshoot or just they're doing their own version of it, but it's not really like the $30 Japanese kind. This is the $13.99 kind. I like that. All right, the next one in this group is Moonstone Project. So this is one of those projects that's put together. It's got all different musicians doing it. You get people like Glenn Hughes and other great vocalists coming in and doing it. I don't know who's on this one. They don't have the list on the backside of it. But again, I was reading the information before I was placing the order because I was over on Escape's website reading up about this, finding the albums I like, then going over to eBay to this place, Heavy Metal Museum, and seeing if they had it, searching their specific postings, and I found it. So I was getting all this stuff cool and not even having to wait for it to ship over from Europe. Talking about Steve Overland from Lone Rider, FM. Well, I also got a solo album of his simply called Overland. And Scandalous is this one here. This is 2020 release. And again, another Escape Records one. And then, okay, I got two of them. So 6. I know this one here is the latest one. This is 2023. So looking forward to checking both of these out. They have Robert Saul as the guitar player on them, but Steve Overland, absolutely loving his vocals. Getting into FM, I was never into FM before the whole Lone Rider thing. And if you don't know who that is, and I had mentioned Simon Kirk being the drummer from Free and Bad Company. This is like an offshoot. Basically, they sound like Bad Company because Bad Company hung it up in 2019, and it's like these guys are continuing that on. And Steve Overland has that voice like Paul Rogers, and I never really noticed it before, and maybe I just was never in the right mood. But when I put the Lone Rider on, everything was absolutely perfect. And then I went and pulled out my FM albums, which I'd never really gotten into before, and they were perfect. And I started pulling out all the different things that I have that Steve Overland has been part of, and it just clicked. And I love it when that happens. So of course I had to go on and buy much more stuff. This one here was kind of like an impulse buy. It's on ZYX Records, Scavenger, of which they've recently gotten back together with a bunch of new members. I don't know how many are even original from back in the day. And I just absolutely love the album that they did, and found out they had one from back in the 80s. And that's what this is. I'm just looking to see if I can find an original issue date, but this was reissued in 2020, which is already out of print. You can get the new Scavenger on I want to say it's Dying Victim Records, but I could be wrong. But really loving that, and I said, you know what? I don't care what this is. I got to get it and check it out. So it's got the original album. It's been remastered in 2020, and then it's got demos from 82 and a live release from 84 added on, a total of 20 tracks of killer, like new wave of British heavy metal style music. And then Fate, I finally found this. I'd gotten into King Diamond a while back, and the guitar player or Merciful Fate, I'd gotten in Merciful Fate a while back, and then looked this up and found out more info on it, where the guitar player essentially did a more commercial version of Merciful Fate, kind of glam metal, AOR melodic rock style stuff, and that's what this is. And this one being the debut, A Matter of Attitude. And this is on MTM. I'm sure it's a reissue, but either way, I couldn't find it. And then I randomly came across it as part of this guy's eBay channel. It's like this. Both of these I looked for in the last few years and was not able to come across copies of this. And here I'm finding brand new sealed copies of this stuff, which is just super cool. So I know this doesn't sound anything like Merciful Fate, and I'm totally okay with that because I love my glam metal too, and this is gonna fit right in the vein of that. So I've got that, and then the last thing was another metal artist I had recently gotten into through one of the trips that I made, and I think it goes to both when I went to Red Bank, to Jack's Music Shop, and also when I went up to Middletown and I went to Rock Fantasy, picked up an album released by a band called Torch. This is I think the debut, but one of the ones back from the 80s. Well, I've got the reformed, the newer stuff that they've done, and I really enjoy that. But again, I wasn't able to get this original stuff. So this one here is on Hellion Records. And again, I'm sure it's a reissue because it's got the Fire Razor EP, 3 bonus tracks, and the original debut album Torch and all of that stuff. But again, all of this stuff sealed and things that I haven't been able to find, and I've got 9 new albums to go through, so I am super excited about that. I'm gonna wrap this up here because I am absolutely overjoyed by this purchase. This is like as good as when I go to a record store and I find things I wasn't expecting, and you go home with that mountain of albums. Usually in the mail, 1, 2, maybe 3 things arrive on the same day, and this was 2 separate orders that I did. I did one like in an afternoon, and then I went back and bought a bunch more that night, and then they shipped it the next day, so it just all went together. So getting it all together at the same time is like Christmas, birthday, record store shopping, all rolled into one. I can't wait to go through this. Do tune in for the next music news, or the next new music finds, where I collect all this together. I'll tell you more about it because, like I said, I don't know all the different people that are part of like Moonstone Project, or what was the other one? The first one I went through, the Sign of the Wolf. But lots of cool stuff, and definitely worth checking out. Write these names down, go look them up, and certainly go check out Heavy Metal Museum on eBay and see if you can find some stuff too. All right, everyone, take care, have a good one, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.